Well, hello folks, it's Mike here. I just want to welcome you back to Mr. Cast Iron. And today I want to share 3 tips with you. Actually, I want to bust 3 myths about cast iron. Number 1 is, can you use soap on cast iron? And years ago, soap was made out of lye, and lye would eat the finish off of cast iron. As a matter of fact, people actually restore cast iron by putting it in a lye bath at times, and it brings it back to the natural cast iron finish. And then they're able to season it. But soaps today are not made with lye in them. They're just a natural mild detergent, and so you certainly can use a mild detergent soap on your cast iron. As a matter of fact, whenever you buy a new piece of cast iron, say like from Walmart or Amazon, or you order it from Lodge, wherever you get it, I mean, you don't know how long that piece of cast iron has been sitting on a shelf. You don't know who's touched it, what they've done to it, or whatever, or how much dust or whatever it may have collected from sitting there on the shelf. So when you receive that cast iron, whether it be a skillet or a Dutch oven or whatever piece it may be sure and take and wash that thoroughly. Take you some warm water and some dishwashing soap and rinse and clean that skillet and Dutch oven out very good. And then just rinse it out real good. Take you a soft cloth or a paper towel or whatever and wipe all the residue, all the excess water, all the moisture out of it, and get it as completely as dry as you can. And then just take and put it on a stove and heat the stove up until your skillet or your Dutch oven is warm to touch. Once it gets to that stage where it's warm to touch, take you about a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of your oil of choice. I use bacon grease. I use lard. Some people use olive oil. Some people use vegetable oil, just different things, whatever your choice is for seasoning cast iron. And just take and wash that, or wipe that seasoning, wipe that oil around all over your skillet or your Dutch oven, in all the corners, all the sides, all the edges, all the handles. I even do the bottoms of mine because it's cast iron as well, so you certainly want to have some seasoning on it to help prevent any rust. Now, once that's done, once you get it wiped on, just be sure and set it on the stove, let it warm up a little bit, and then take another soft cloth, a clean cloth, or a clean paper towel, and wipe out any excess oil that may have accumulated. And then once you do that, you can put it on your shelf, you can put it wherever in your cabinet or wherever you store your cast iron, and you're good to go to your next use. Now, number 2 is, can you use metal utensils on your cast iron? Well, that's a myth. You certainly can use metal utensils on your cast iron. I use a metal spatula all the time, so I use metal slotted spoons. But you got to be careful. You don't want to be gouging in your skillet or your Dutch oven or whatever, because it can scratch it, or it can chip a seasoning a little bit if you're not careful. But typically not, so that's a myth. You can use metal utensils in your cast iron. Now, if you're afraid that you're going to scratch it and it's going to rust or whatever, then there we go again. You're right back to where we're at. You just take and clean the rust out, heat it up, add you a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of oil of your choice, wipe it down, and you're good to go. It's rust resistant basically at that point, because you've got that seasoning on top of it to prevent it from rusting. Now, number 3 is another one that I just can't hardly believe I hear from time to time, is you just can't use I don't like cast iron because you can't use it on a glass top stove. Well, that's a myth. You can use cast iron on a glass top stove. Now, you certainly want to be careful about using it on a glass top stove, because cast iron, number 1, it's a little heavier than other cookware, and you certainly don't want to drop it on your stove or whatever, because you would break the glass top, and that wouldn't be good. But you certainly can use cast iron on a glass top stove. Now, you just want to be careful. You don't want to be moving it around and turning it and everything like that, because you could scratch the glass. But typically what I suggest doing is take and pick the burner that is closely to the size of the skillet or Dutch oven that you're using, and place your skillet or your Dutch oven completely right center on top of that particular burner, and then take and use it just like you normally would any other piece of equipment. And when you're done, don't slide it across the top. Be sure and pick it completely up. place it over on another area of the stove, either that or on a trivet or something like that, or a pot holder or whatever, and you'll be fine. So anyway, we just wanted to share these 3 tips with you. I hope they're helpful. If they were helpful, give us a thumbs up, and we'll be talking to you soon again. It's Mike over here at Mr. Cast Iron. Y'all have a great day.